Hello and welcome to this tutorial for WaveMaker version 2. You can also use this tutorial for version 1 if you're still using it, but maybe the editors for some of the components will change a little bit, but basically it will be the same way. So I grabbed the scene that comes with the character controller and the robot guy that comes with it, so we can use it to walk over the water that we will put in this hole that I made myself with a terrain. So we have to create a WaveMaker surface. So right click on the hierarchy view, 3D object and WaveMaker, and we have WaveMaker surface. This surface will contain nothing. As you can see, it's an empty game object. So the mesh that is drawn is created via the descriptor file. And we create one by right click on project and then create WaveMaker descriptor. This file is an asset that lets us decide which resolution we have for the plane, for the water surface we're creating, and we need to attach it in the WaveMaker surface. And after we do that, a basic surface is created. Now we can place it where we want it. The size is currently not correct, but we're gonna change all of that right now. In the surface, there's a part which is local mesh size, where we can set the local size. You can also use the scale of the transform, but this works better because it's contained inside the component. So we said 25 by 25. Try not to make it too big, so be the most accurate you can be with the size you want. We'll set this to 23. A good trick is to put one of the corners in the right place and then play with the numbers until you get the right size. Okay, so now we have the plane correctly positioned, and now we can change the renderer and the material and set another material instead of the default material. We have this shiny material that I like to use in my demos. Now let's bring up the surface a little bit to fit the scene. Now to interact with the water, we need an interactor. So let's select the character. The interactors should move together with the legs. So let's find the legs in the skeleton. Here we are. So we have a right leg and a left leg. And we need to attach some interactor components to those. So right click, 3D object, WaveMaker, and let's choose one of these three that are now available with version 2. I think a capsule will fit our legs. It's better to choose a round object instead of a square one. And now we have to fit it with the leg as much as possible, with the lower part of the leg that will touch the water. Well, it doesn't have to be perfect because it's not that detailed, but it depends on the resolution of the water that you want. In this case, it will be okay if we fit it around that position. Now we need to get rid of the mesh renderer and the mesh filter because we don't really need to see the object. This is by default coming with a WaveMaker interactor. Now let's check that the rigid body that comes with it has a kinematic on and has no gravity applied to it. Now the interactor component will have the collider that is created by default attached to it. This is new in version 2. Now you can have several interactors and several colliders in the same object, but you need to attach which collider is related to which interactor, so that you can have colliders that are not considered by the surfaces. You have other parameters here that you can enable, just like in version 1, to make the speed slower or more smooth in case this character moves too much, but that is not the case for us. So let's take this interactor that we already created and let's make a copy of it and put it in the other leg. Of course, we need to move it around to put it in the other place. So both legs are now well positioned and both will interact with the water. Also make sure that in the surface the interaction mode is set to velocity based. This is also a new feature of WaveMaker 2, and velocity based is the old method. You can see a full tutorial on it in the new videos that I've posted. Well, it's time to check if this works. Well, the effect is very subtle, so we need to change a little bit the settings. It is always a good idea to change the view of the scene to shaded wireframe. This will show the resolution of our plane, which is set by the descriptor file. If you open the descriptor file, you can change the resolution and apply it, so you can see instantly the change of resolution. Let's see how this looks now. Well, it's much better, right? But the problem here is that there's a warning showing up here that says that propagation speed is too big for this resolution. This sometimes happens when you raise the resolution without changing the propagation speed. And if you surpass this value that has the warning, you can get crazy results. So the water can never stop moving around. So let's bring this value down a little bit until we don't see the warning anymore. 3 is okay. Now the damping will make waves take longer to disappear, and we like that. So let's bring down the damping. Let's raise a little bit the wave smoothness, that will make waves look smoother. And then maybe the horizontal push scale, that makes the waves bigger when there's horizontal movement, which is what's happening here. So as you can see, it looks much better, but there's still stuff we can do. If we want the objects in the scene to interact with the waves and seems like they are crossing through the objects, we need to go to this section called Fixed Cells. The fixed cells existed in version 1. It has a little bit improved this time, but not much. More features will come in the next versions, but right now we can do basic things like paint the non-fixed parts of the water, selecting the paint mode. Fixing cells is very good for efficiency, so fixed cells are absolutely ignored by simulation and will make it better. But not only that, fixed cells will also return the waves, so it looks like there are borders and the objects are inside the water. So it is good always to set the fixed cells correctly. As you can see, the waves are returned by the objects. Well, we haven't painted right all the parts of it, but it's okay. So well, it looks great. I think right now you can set your own shaders and make it look much better, but you know, WaveMaker doesn't come with the shaders, so you can set the parameters on the materials and the shaders you like to make the water look the way you like. So thanks for watching the tutorial. I'll try to update and upload more of them, so you can have a general vision of how everything is done in the example scenes. And also I'm gonna use other people's assets so you can see how it looks in a real game in the future. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel and more stuff will come. So don't forget to visit the official website, because I'm uploading a lot of things, but the documentation is getting really big right now that version 2 has come, and it has a lot of features, and more features will come in the next versions. So see you soon!